The Prince and Princess of Wales and the Sussexes both mark World Mental Health Day. Plus, King Charles is planning his 75th birthday as Kate and William experience some marital woes just like us. Plus, Meghan Markle is plotting her comeback as Spotify CEO speaks out about their split. We got that plus so much more on today's Royally Us. Hey everyone, and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina, and that's Christine, and the Royals are stepping out for World Mental Health Day.
This is a super initiative. I'm so glad that they've gotten involved in this literally all across the globe.
Definitely. All across the globe, and we have you covered. Before we get into it, like always, see what you guys had to say about last week's show. At Laura says, I really like PDINA. She is brave and correct. We got a lot of people that really seem to like our conversation, so we have a little bit more of that a little bit later on in the show, so glad you guys enjoyed. And then Margaret says, you left out a very important fact about Princess of Wales' visit to the textile mill. Her family in the Victorian time owned the textile mill and sold it to the current owners, so they still make some of the items her family made. I love that so much.
Yeah, that is sort of an important part of the story that we did miss, but that was, such a cool aspect of sort of returning to her family's, original factory.
Definitely love it. And then Natasha says, even though they are part of the royal family, their family is just as messed up as any other family, and that is why their drama is so entertaining. It's why you guys keep coming back, because we keep talking about it. They're just like us. We all have our family drama. All right. Well, let's get right into the news of the week. And like we said, the Prince and Princess of Wales hosted a forum for young people alongside a charity and top radio station in Birmingham, UK on October 10th. The Prince and Princess of Wales event explored emotional worlds. Said was to bring together 100 young delegates nominated by 10 leading mental health and youth engagement charities to start a conversation about how they manage their emotions and how they can be supported to build the resilience and protective factors such as healthy relationships, which make it easier to navigate bumps in the road as they go through life. So yeah, Kate spoke out in a speech as well, and it seems like they had a lot of great conversation about mental health.
Yeah, I love all the events that they do with mental health, not just World Mental Health Day, but really year round. It's about bringing people together to have really important conversations, but maybe connecting people who can sort of, one organization can help another one. But it's also about normalizing the conversation around mental health. The Princess of Wales said in her speech that, the more we talk about this, the more we can talk about this in, not a negative way. We can normalize this conversation. It might lead to more people getting health and ultimately better mental health all around.
Yeah, and that is definitely the goal. I think they said in a poll that when a poll that they did that a lot of people are more concerned about their friends' mental health than their own, which I thought was really interesting as well too.
Interesting. I mean, I think it's interesting how we will talk to our friends differently than we would talk to ourselves. Right. We would support them differently. I guess that just goes to show that these conversations and supporting other people are really important.
Definitely. All right. Well, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are back in New York City and hosted the first ever in-person event for their Archwell Foundation. The pair marked World Mental Health Day with the Archwell Foundation Parents Summit, Mental Wellness in a Digital Age, on October 10th. The event provided a platform to parents and families hoping to protect their kids from the online community, making it safer and navigating the mental health challenges that come with the digital world. The summit also included parents who experienced tragedy and loss due to their children's social media use. They worked with Harry and Meghan behind the scenes in the months leading up to this event. They participated in the conversation with Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, and it was moderated by Carson Daly. So, this is the first time they're back in New York since the whole cab catastrophe thing, but it's nice that they came to mark Mental Health Day, the first in-person event for Archwell. And they have talked a lot about in the past how social media, how social media makes such an impact on your mental health.
Yeah, this really ties together a lot of the projects that they've supported in the past, from, social media reform, supporting mental health, also mothers, and sort of that, postpartum, mental health care, with Meghan speaking out about her own experience, but also supporting organizations like Baby to Baby, where they volunteered in the past. So this is just a great combination of important causes, work that they've done in the past. I love to see it. We love seeing them out there actually doing the good work. And, hopefully this is the start of many more.
Yes, hopefully, like we've been saying, start in the right direction. And it seems like this is it. All right. Well, circling back to the Princess of Wales, she took part in a rugby game to highlight the inclusivity in the sport when she visited Hull in the northeast of England. She also joined a training session run by members of the World Cup winning England Wheelchair Rugby League squad. Her main focus of the day was to highlight the positive impact the Disability Rugby League has on those who play the sport. So this is definitely great. We love Sporty Kate, and she definitely got in there. She was wearing her best sweatpants, and she's a patron of the rugby league too. So this was a perfect fit.
Yep, everyone loves Sporty Kate. I would never look that good in those sweatpants. I mean, aside from how great she looked, this was a great cause. She really showed off what an incredible sportswoman she is, but also she really showcased how difficult it can be and how challenging it can be when you are, playing a sport in a wheelchair or you have some sort of disability that makes the sport different for you. I think that it was amazing for her to highlight sort of the versatility of the sport and how amazing that support is for those players.
Definitely. All right. Well, Prince William showed off his cheeky side, which we always love to see. He was caught sharing a joke during a group photo. In the video, which was shared on TikTok, the prince could be heard asking, "Who's pinching my bottom?" as he stands with Kate and a group of locals. They were there to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the HMT Empire Windrush's arrival in London, as well as the start of Black History Month in the UK. We love a fun royal moment.
This was so funny. He sort of caught on the video clip. Everyone laughed. I mean, I can't imagine. You hope he's joking, right?
No, you do. You're like, what? Did somebody really pinch his bottom? I mean, please come forward.
Whoever organized that event was probably horrified. Like, you did what?
Right? Oh, man. I love to see it. So funny, though. At least he took it in stride. All right. Well, King Charles turned 75 on November 14th, and his educational charity, the Prince's Foundation, has announced it will mark the milestone for fellow members of his generation turning 75 this year with celebratory events at Highgrove Gardens and Dumfries House. I really like this. I think this is such a fun idea. The festivities will be held on November 13th, his birthday eve, and online nominations for the parties opened, with people urged to put forward individuals who should be rewarded for doing good in their local communities, or who would benefit from the companionship that attending such an event would bring. So this was a statement that was shared by the Highgrove Gardens website. And organizations marking their 75th anniversary in 2023 can also apply. I love this so much. What a great way to celebrate your 75th birthday. If you're getting the chance to do that, they're going to have afternoon tea. They're going to dance. They're going to have a good time.
It's really a thoughtful way to mark the occasion. It's not just, King Charles celebrating himself. It's really marking, other people who are turning 75, which is you really lived a long time at that point. That's a huge accomplishment in terms of birthdays, but also the organizations marking 75th anniversaries. That's an incredible accomplishment. And it really sort of ties the monarch back to the people. It's not just about him. He's not sitting on his throne, sort of up on a pedestal. He's really making it more about the people and about, how we can celebrate Britain.
I love that. And I think, so many people have been saying that there's been such a disconnect between the royals and the everyday people. And this is a great way to bridge that. And I think he's doing a really good job. And, 75, like you said, cheers to that. Love it. All right. Well, we have been waiting a long, long time, but The Crown is right around the corner. So Netflix announced that the Crown's last run will be split up into 2 parts. The first 4 episodes will premiere on November 16th, with part 2, another 6 episodes following 4 weeks later on December 14th. The final season of the series will cover the years from 1997 to 2005. So part 1 will depict the relationship between Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed, and of course, the car crash that killed her in Paris in 1997. Now, part 2 will feature the wedding of Prince Charles and Camilla, and will also focus on Charles's sons, William and Harry. I mean, this is going to be a must-watch event for so many people. We've talked about The Crown, that, it feels like it's been forever since it's been on. So, I know that they're wrapping it up. And I feel like Netflix has been splitting up the final seasons into 2 parts, quite frequently lately.
Yeah, I think it creates a little bit of hype. It sort of, elongates the ability to sort of, promote the seasons and things like that. And it definitely builds up excitement of, what's going to happen next, in a way that you don't get when you sort of dump out all the episodes at once. But lots of hype, lots of excitement. I know people aren't really sure, if you've watched The Crown from the beginning, there's a lot of mixed emotions as you go through it. So I'm really interested in this final season, how it's going to go. I've been very critical of the costume choices for Kate that we've seen in those sort of leaked photos. So I'm really, really interested to see how all of that's portrayed.
Definitely. All right. Only a couple more weeks to go. All right. Well, let's spill some royalty. And royal insiders tell us weekly that William and Kate have been facing their own set of typical marital struggles. We hear that Kate and William have been having ups and downs in their marriage like everyone else, but they're focused on their royal duties and doing that as a unit. Now, one sore spot, you guessed it, is Prince Harry. It's been 10 months since the Duke of Sussex dropped his bombshell memoir Spare, and his relationships with the royal family remain fractured after his book covered, of course, various fights with his brother and father. While Harry has made it clear that he believes the royal family should apologize to both himself and Meghan, Kate doesn't want to make amends with her brother-in-law. We hear that Kate has no desire to communicate with Harry nor Meghan. There has been too much that has happened, and she's not ready yet. But we're hearing that William would like to make amends. We hear that he wants his relationship with his brother to improve, but they're not speaking right now. So when that will happen, your guess is good as mine. So, who knows? I mean, I feel like we talk about this week in and week out. This relationship is fractured. It's going to take a very long time for this to get back on track, if it ever does at all.
Yeah, and we talk about, sometimes Kate wants them to reconcile and she's supporting them. Sometimes William doesn't want to speak to his brother. Sometimes they're FaceTiming. Sometimes they're not. Right. It's an interesting story. We will never know the truth, but it's interesting to sort of hear different sides of the story, people who might know what's going on. Yeah. You never know.
You never know. You never know. But we hope for some peace in the royal family in the future. Well, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek shared some insight into what went wrong with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's multi-million-dollar podcast deal that, of course, fell through. He told the BBC, "We thought we can come in and offer a great experience that both makes consumers very happy and allows new creators new avenues. And the truth of the matter is some of it has worked, some of it hasn't. We're learning from those and we are moving on. And we wish all of the ones we didn't renew with the best of success that they can have going forward." As we know, their multi-million-dollar deal was worth $20 million, was axed. The Archwell Archetypes podcast, which only ran for a total of 12 episodes in 2022, was not renewed. And there was a lot of choice words that happened afterwards from CEOs at Spotify, but it seems like this was not a happy ending.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Spotify made a ton of cuts to their podcast repertoire. I think they just made, bought into too many shows. They didn't all perform, and it was a big, I think, harsh learning experience. But obviously the only ones that you hear about is Meghan's podcast because it makes for good headlines. But it sounds like, despite what the other guy said in his very strongly worded podcast episode, this was sort of lots of shows got cut, and Archetypes was just one of them.
Just one of them. Just happened, just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Well, Meghan isn't too worried about that anymore because she's focusing on her next project. A source tells Us Weekly that Harry and Meghan have been busy with Invictus Games recently, but Meghan is still planning her Hollywood reinvention. Meghan has a new team around her, and they've been strategizing about what mediums will have the most impact. An insider adds that Meghan wants whatever she does next to be rooted in giving back and philanthropy, and has been in talks with both documentary directors and fashion houses. They add that there isn't anything locked in yet, but the most promising thing for everyone seems to be Meghan and Harry highlighting important issues through docuseries and bringing attention and fundraising, which that's exactly what they did this week with World Mental Health Day, speaking out, bringing this panel to life. So like we said, this is what probably they need to do going forward. Whether or not everybody's going to be fully invested and fully interested remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think the next move is hugely important in terms of how just their whole future. And it's good that we're seeing, like we said, this World Mental Health Day event is a good step in the right direction. But as far as what actually happens next, what their next big step is, it really determines a lot.
Yeah. All right, well, let's break down the royal rules, and we are revisiting our conversation with PDINA about where she thinks Meghan will go from here.
What do you think their next step is going to be? Is it going to be into politics? Is it going to be into Hollywood? Is Meghan launching a lifestyle website? What do you think most likely to do next?
Well, Meghan is definitely going to be doing her TIG, the website. I think that's the only way she'll be able to really make money, because that's something that she owns that was, to her credit, was already doing pretty well before she stopped it. And I think that would be a great choice for her. I don't know that politics will be the thing, because they can't really stomach criticism. They're trying to stop people from even speaking negatively about them, like what they did for the children at the school. I mean, how can you get into politics if you cannot stomach someone writing something negative about you from a school? Really? You're going to try to muzzle the children at a school to give their honest opinions about your visit? And you also want to get into politics, the most ruthless, cutthroat business out there. I mean, they will go dig up things from her past like crazy. I mean, just the rumors alone will just make her not be able to stomach the rumors, because people will start talking about those things that may or may not be true that are out there now. And it just is going to times 10 when she goes into politics. I don't think that they will get into politics in a serious way. I think maybe in a very like a sidekick kind of a way, we support so-and-so, or we're here supporting this House bill, or, whatever it might be. But no, she can't get into politics at a high level. But their next step should definitely be reconciling with their family. That's going to always be on the table for me, because you're acting in a way that is deplorable. It is reprehensible to also, as a woman of color, representing other women of color on a world stage. Us as Americans, you are behaving badly. It's shameful. So until that changes, I think Meghan is not going to have a good footing going forward with anything, with real high paying brand sponsorships, because then these sponsorships, these companies will also be attacked, because we're a whole community of people out here that support things, right? But if we see Meghan attached to it, it's going to plummet. Just like with the Netflix. A lot of people, even on my channel, talked about how they got rid of their Netflix subscriptions because they did not want to support something that was paying Meghan so much money. And also Spotify. And I think they saw too, with the layoffs that they had at their company, that they've missed the step on the money that they spent on Harry and Meghan on this podcast. So yeah, moving forward, Meghan is going to have to try to just do her little TIG thing, maybe do a movie here and there, and be a sidekick for politics reasons. I don't know.
Yes, only time will tell. All right, let's get into our pint-sized palace. And Princess Beatrice says she and her husband, Eduardo, agree on a possible parenting decision ahead. She gave a very rare interview to Lessons in Dyslexic Thinking, where she spoke about how she and her husband will move forward if their children have dyslexia like they do. She said, as two dyslexics, we will be figuring out as parents whether or not our children have dyslexia and how best to support them. But I think the most important thing that I can do, hopefully, if they are lucky enough to be dyslexic as well, then I feel really grateful that we can help them with resources. I think it's great that she is speaking out. I know her sister praised her as well, for, being so open and vulnerable, because this is, like we said, a pretty rare interview from her.
Yeah, and she talked a lot in this interview about her experience, about how difficult it was, the amazing teachers who supported her. But I think a lot of parents, especially, it's so vulnerable when it's your children who are having these struggles. And for her to sort of say, we know to provide them with support and find those resources, it might give other parents the confidence to do the same. So again, the platform that the royals have in speaking out against these issues is really to help someone else either gain the confidence or find the resources to help whatever their situation might be.
Definitely. Important conversations a lot of important conversations were being had this week. So love to see it. Love to see it. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Asked. Christine, thank you so much as always.
It's just fun. I like all the important causes this week.
I do too. It feels like a good, lighthearted, but important show, which is what we like. Not too much drama this week. All right. Well, let us know what you think in the comments. So keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.